All right. Hey, kings and queens, it's E here. You want to use. Oh my gosh, I got so much amazing things to share with you today. Cannot wait. So, before we get into it, happy Thursday. I can't believe it's already Thursday. This week has been flying by. So, if you're watching this, let me know where you guys are watching it from. Right now, I'm in NY, New York, but oh my gosh, some amazing stuff are coming up, and I'm super excited because I get to share it with you first. And while I do this, I'll be letting you know updates while getting ready for some other stuff that's happening later tonight. So again, I'll give you guys a moment just to join in. In the meantime, we get back to reading Bold Saga. It's actually a manga series that I created, and it's one of the things I'll be talking about as this goes on. So yeah. And how's your day going? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you got us living on purpose, getting your goals, accomplishing your goals, crushing your goals, and getting things done. Because today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. One is building wealth, two is anime, and then three is a BEV interview. So tap in. If you enjoying this, share it out. Let as many kings and queens know about it because we're going to be talking about some amazing and important topics that I can't wait for you to see. Let's see. All right. There we go. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the first one I'm even be mentioning right now is the fact that the building wealth. Why am I even talking about that? Well, we have a panel coming up for the Elevate with the podcast, so stay tuned for that. More information is going to be coming out regarding that. But a lot of times we hear this aspect, oh, I want to make an anime. Oh, let's make an anime, which ties us to the next topic. Because someone tagged me on a post yesterday, and it was all about we're working on a Christian anime. We're interested in making a Christian anime. If you know any people that can help us with that, let us know. And I love the enthusiasm. I love the vigor, the excitement regarding like the end result. But I feel that we missed the entire what's the thing, missed the forest for the trees. Because we want the anime. We want like the big thing, our name and lights, getting multiple seasons, the entire deal. But without the foundation, right? How far are you really going to go? And what is the foundation I'm talking about? See, in order to make your anime, if you're watching this and you want to make anime, you love Naruto, you love One Piece, you love Dragon Ball Z. Like I literally right here in my office have one of the things that helped inspire me to get into this. Two of them, two of my favorite inspirations right here. One of them, One Piece, right? The other one, My Hero Academia. Like two of my favorite manga series. Now, one thing I've noticed is that both of them are wildly successful. They have great animes, but they started as books. So I feel that before we get into getting the manga, I'm getting the anime series, getting all those types of things done, you have to have a structure. So this is why we wanted to talk about building your wealth and the build your own table panel. That's going to be a panel that's coming up on the Elevate with E podcast. So again, stay tuned for that because that's going to be great. It's going to be great because we're going to be talking about building your own table. Because if you truly want to make the anime like you said you do, you need your own table. And we're going to be discussing like what a table actually is and how do you actually build it. And it's not just me. We're going to have phenomenal panelists that are going to be along with us for this amazing journey. So stay tuned for all of that and more. And that is coming up soon. But the other thing I want to let you guys know, kings and queens, is that we're going to be featured on the Bird's Eye View tonight at 8 o'clock. So stay tuned for that. I saw Bird's Eye View before posting, follow the content. And the thing that stuck out to me is that not only do they have like high quality, amazing content and amazing interviews, but the last person that they featured was Phil Lamar. And if you know who Phil Lamar is, that says it enough. But if you don't know who Phil Lamar is, he's the voice of Samurai Jack from the 90s. Gotta be Jack. Jack to the Jack, Samurai Jack. He's the voice of the Green Lantern, the one from the Justice League TV show, the black guy. And then he's the voice of so many other amazing characters, so many other amazing. The list goes on, man. He's just a phenomenal voice actor. So super excited that I'm even have the opportunity to be featured on something that like a famous, amazing voice actor who's like well known. To me, when I think of Phil Lamar, I think of Cree Summers, like people that are legendary, and being on a podcast that has people that are legendary, that are amazing in their space. I'm looking forward to that. So again, we're going to be on tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. and we're going to be discussing Old Saga, the manga series that we have. And we talk about blurred content, manga, even this 7 steps to creating a dream manga series. Because a lot of, like we just talked about earlier, we want to get to wealth, we want to get to an anime, but we don't know the actual path, the actual structure, the actual frameworks that are involved. So I want to help you with that. So it's a selfless gesture. I created a book to help you create your own series cover to cover. Not no, let's just draw manga or let's just write manga. None of that vague stuff. How do you actually go from one idea in your head to an actual physical book that people, when they read it, they love it? A book that's so well written that it's a guarantee that you'll get it done, that you'll get it done properly, and it's going to touch people's lives, and for the better, for that matter. So we made this book as a selfless gesture to help you, kings and queens, win to the point is literally giving away your best stuff. This is literally one of the best, if not the best guide on making manga cover to cover. And again, this is not just about just drawing. It's about the writing, the business side, the art side. How do you actually get the book printed? Because many times people ask, like, how do you actually paint your covers? And how do you actually get the book formatted? And what's the copywriting process? Like all these things we cover and more because we want to see you win. Because it's not enough to just say you have an idea and it's posted on social media and say, here's my OC. Because that's how you get your. We're going to be talking about all this and more. All right. I want to give it all away. But the point is this, like, you don't want to get played. You want to play the game to win. Like, I even talked to my dad about this. There's an amazing quote by Einstein. If you never heard it, remember this. First, you learn the rules of the game. Then you learn to play better than anyone else. Again, first you learn the rules of the game, then you learn to play better than anyone else. When you learn how to play better than anyone else, it's a guaranteed victory. It's a guaranteed victory. So we want to help you win, kings and queens. So that's why we made this. That's why we have our other systems as well. So stay tuned for all of that and more because, again, if you truly want to build wealth, one of the best ways you can do it is through books. We're going to be talking about all these topics and more. And I can't believe it is today. So Tap In is going to be today at 8 o'clock p.m. So check out Blurred's Eye View. That's going to be, if you follow them on Instagram, you can find them. Or if you subscribe to our email list, you will gotten the link as well as soon as it comes out. Because we want, this is the time, Kings and Queens. This is the season with, the way how things are going with manga and anime. Yes, there's some representation, but honestly, it's lacking. There's only a few characters that are authentic. A lot of it is whack excellence. A lot of it is appropriation. A lot of it is like insults, but it's like underhanded. And a few times is it done right. On Yankapan, Afro Samurai. Um, it's so you can count on your hand like how few authentic representation we get in stories. And not that the story has to focus on us, but it's like if you're going to use our culture, why would you not celebrate the people that the culture came from? Because they already have Hypnosis Mike, all right? If you've been to anime, you may have heard this one before. Hypnosis Mike is an anime about hip hop, right? But there's no black people in it. In the first episode, I find that very bizarre. I also find it bizarre that like it's almost like NSYNC boy bands, but it's rapping and the bars turn into like what am I looking for? Almost like the Green Lantern. You have the ring, and the ring is able to like manifest and create things. It's like that, but with bars. But it's weird. It's very weird. So, in order to stop things like that from continuously happening, we want to show you how to build your own wealth so that you can actually create your own things. We're also going to be talking about Pokemon and Power World in the next upcoming episode of Elevate with You podcast because that's something you really need to study. Because if you truly want to get to that bag, truly want to get to that wealth, you have to understand how the big dogs play. All right. These are like master level topics. And this is what we cover with Great Gale because it's more than just how do you draw manga? It's got to be about how do we create systems that can sustain us for our life so that we can actually afford to buy them, afford to actually get the systems, afford to actually pay for the people to work with us, to pay the team that's going to help us achieve the dream. Because if the dream is big enough just for you, it's not a dream. That's just an idea or something that you can do. But it's got to be something that's so profound. Because when you have a true dream, it's going to be magnificent. It's going to be gigantic. You can start it, but to truly bring it to pass, you're going to need a team. Moses needed Aaron. Joshua worked with Caleb. Even Jesus had disciples. So what does that tell you? It tells you that you can't do it alone. All right. You just can't. No man is an island. All right. Even One Piece, you find it. There's a team. Look at the animes, right? You never see Deku trying to do it, even if there is a dark arc. He can't sustain victory on his own. One Piece is literally crews. Watch all your favorite mangas and animes. Friendship, effort, victory. That's the formula right there. That's the formula, the winning formula. The triple. Friendship, effort, and victory. What does that tell you? It's teamwork. If you truly want to make the dream work, you need teamwork. So we're going to be talking about all these things and more. Because I want to see you win Kings of Queens. I want this to be the year where you go from just the idea, just the thought, to actually creating your book. Because wouldn't it be great if you actually had your physical book in your hand? So when things like DreamCon happen, so when things like VirtuousCon happen, which we're also going to be at next week. I can't believe it. It's already like 8 days away. So if you want to be out and about in front of people showcasing your books, showcasing your story and how you're changing lives, is one of the best ways that you can do it. So again, we want to see you win, Kings or Queens. We truly want to see you win. So if you're invested in that, if you're interested in that, and learning how to build wealth and getting into anime and seeing amazing interviews about manga and all the other things we're going to be talking about the journey of getting the manga done, about the highs and lows, the truth of the story, the truth of the matter. Because a lot of times people talk about manga, a lot of times people talk about anime, but they don't go into like the other side. Like, how do you actually get it done? Because it's one thing to watch it. I love watching anime. Most recently, I'm watching, what is it? Gundam Wing Again. I love Gundam. I love that was one of the first animes I got from my grandfather. Just thinking about it recently, I was like, you know what? I should finish that story. I should finish it because I only had the VHS back then. That was what he got, and I appreciate it. I used to watch that thing on repeat over and over again. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a Gundam. It's so cool. So now, like, I want to finish it. I want to understand it, and who knows? Maybe one of these days you'll see like next that we create inside of our story. Who knows? But the point is that just watching things that you can enjoy. That and How Not to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, that one too, to see like past and present. Because if you truly want to understand how a system works, you got to study the big dogs. You have to study the big dogs. That's why we'll talk about this in the interview. I just came back from an event, and it's a game changer what we talked about and what I learned from that event. So if you want to learn more about that and all the other topics we're going to be discussing, tap in. It's going to be in the Build Your Own Table panel. All right, that's going to be next week. So stay tuned for the release date for that. And then the Blurred's Eye View, that interview is happening tonight. Again, that interview is happening tonight at 8 p.m. So we're going to be talking about amazing manga, blurred topics, business, and so much more. Because I want to see you win, Kings and Queens. It can't just be just the art and the creative. We got to get into the business side, Kings and Queens, because look at this. Watch this. Watch this. You ready? This series is worth $20.5 billion, but the creator's not a billionaire. This series is probably worth maybe a couple hundreds millions, maybe close to a billion. I know the creator's not a billionaire. Most of the people that create all these amazing stories aren't billionaires. And it doesn't make any sense to me because it's like, if your story is so valuable, right? Why is it that you're not getting compensated more? Well, the reality is this: they're on the art and the creative side. They're not on the business side. Truthfully, they're not. It's evident. It's evident. So if you truly want to understand how the game is played, be on the right side of the equation. Understand the business side of things. So you're not just, hey, I'm just working and grinding and hustling, but I'm not actually getting compensated for my dreams and my goals. Wouldn't it be amazing if the first trillionaire manga creator, the first trillionaire anime creator was actually someone that looked like me, someone that looked like you, someone that looked like your family? Wouldn't that be amazing if we actually understood the rules of the game and then learned to play better than anyone else? That's what I love to see. And thank you, Baba Amin. I truly appreciate it. And check out Uhuru Academy. He's over that. Him and Mama Nyoka, like, they're amazing. Check out Uhuru Academy. They are awesome. Truly awesome. I love every time I get the opportunity to go there, it's a blessing. So check them out. But again, we want to see you win, Kings and Queens. And this is why we're having these type of discussions about building your own table. That episode is going to be with the Elevate with Me podcast coming soon. We're going to have a discussion with Blurred's Eye View podcast. That's happening soon. Virtuous Con is happening. We have not one, not two. We have 5 different panels that we're going to be having virtual workshops that we're going to be having at Virtuous Con. All about these topics because, again, If you don't understand the business side, you're playing yourself. But if you do understand the business side, you are winning, and you're winning on purpose. And Baba Amin said, most artists are into the story and the art and don't realize we're in the intellectual property business. See? That is said from someone who understands the game. It's the intellectual property side, the IP. That's the copyrights. That's the trademarks. That's the actual, there's these structures, these ideas that come to you that are worth millions and billions. I'm telling you, Bob, I mean, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Because remember, Kings and Queens, don't believe the hype when people tell you ideas are worthless, ideas don't matter, everyone has an idea, but it's pointless. Like, this is what people at the top will say, or people that understand the game will say for them to understand what's going on, for you to devalue your idea and just blurt it out, and for them to take it. Because here's a fun fact, because I've been told many times, and I'm actually going to start putting it in this year. You have to give away your best stuff for free. All you posting, all you people watching this that are posting all your OCs and your original characters and just talking, just putting your ideas out there, without an IP, without protecting it, with a copyright or trademark, you're losing. You're playing yourself, and what's going to happen is someone's going to actually take your content. Thank you, Tiara Simon. Thank you so much, Queen. This is amazing to me because I want to see you win. Like, don't just talk about your story online. Like, that's not how the game is played. If you want, I remember when Alita Martinez said it, I never forgot this. If you want to hunt, look how the big dogs are hunting. Watch how the game is played. You never hear Marvel, DC, Universal, Paramount, or any major studio ever announce an IP, an intellectual property, unless it's copyrighted as a book that they're transitioning into a movie, or they've trademarked it and copyrighted the movie. You never hear about it until it's protected. It's Shiva XYZ. Thank you so much for joining. This is how the game is played, Kings and Queens. You protect it and you showcase it. A lot of times we just think we want to just showcase things, and then we wonder why things don't go the way that we want. This is how it's done, Kings and Queens. You want your own anime series? Protect it first as a manga. You want to actually gain wealth and change your life? Become an author, because authority follows author. This is the whole reason why we also do self-publishing Goldmine, which is our group coaching program. It's coming up in the last couple of weeks. So we do all this to help you win. It's not just about me. It's about helping you win. Because wouldn't it be great if you created your bestseller? You're so close, Kings and Queens, so close to finishing your first book, so close to getting your first millions with books. It's possible. Don't even think about it's impossible, because what the mind can perceive, it will achieve. So if you believe it's possible, if you say it's possible, it becomes possible. Look at even what Muhammad Ali did. He said, I am the greatest, before he was the greatest. He spoke it into existence, and then life caught up to him, because that's how life truly works. Again, another life hack, giving away the best stuff for free. Watch this. You have to become the thing that you want before it actually happens. Like, you have to actually believe it's possible before it's actually possible. You have to speak it into existence. I spoke it into existence that I was an author before I finished Bold Saga Chapter 1. Watch this. This is NLP right here, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. I would close my eyes. Imagine what it would feel like to hold my first book. Imagine what it would feel like to actually go through the pages. So me seeing it and doing it now, this is just life catching up. I already did all this. I looked at the back cover in my mind. The front cover, went through the pages. Imagine being at cons. Imagine sharing the books, letting Kings and Queens go through the book, reading the book, them and their family, all these things and more. This is how you overcome, Kings and Queens. This is how you actually get it done. But another thing that can help you build wealth is when life hits you with adversity, hit back. When life hits you with adversity, hit back. Don't let life just punk you. Don't let life just break you down and just put you back and put you in a box. A perfect example of this is when I was in the Caribbean. See, when I was in the Caribbean, I'm born in Antigua. If you don't know, yeah, shout out to Antigua. It's an amazing place. It's paradise. 265 beaches. You have to go. You have to do yourself a favor and go. We went in December of last year. Oh, I'm telling you, life is just different when it's 80s, 70s, and 80s and 90s in wintertime, and you're just feeling amazing. So like, wow, what is life that this I can experience this blessing? Oh my gosh! So going to the Caribbean is amazing. Going to the Caribbean in the wintertime is just as good, if not better, because it's so warm. It's such a different experience, just getting all that nice vitamin D. Anyway, let me not get distracted. I bring up that because when I went to Antigua, right, I lived in Antigua, born there, moved to New York, then moved back. I moved back, right? I moved back in one of the hardest years, because I moved back with sixth grade. Sometimes God will just give you a test to see what you're made of. Will try you to see what you're made of. Now watch this. In sixth grade, right? They have this thing called the common entrance exam. And from what I remember, it's a very hard exam. It's a cumulative exam. What does that mean? That basically means it's based off of your fifth grade, fourth grade, third grade, second grade, years back, all together in one big test. One big test. Now watch this, right? I came in sixth grade. What does that mean? I didn't learn about fifth grade in the Caribbean, fourth, third, 12th, second, first, all that, right? My first day in Sunnyside when I was in Antigua, I literally had three state tests, three of them. I remember. And I was so stressed out. I'm getting a test on day one. I even had to take an entrance exam just to get into the school because they're like, "Oh, you're from so and so. You're from New York. You can't hang with us. You're not smart enough." That's basically the vibe I was getting. That's basically the vibe I felt. So what happened is, I don't really talk about this story often. I need to talk about it more. I literally couldn't take that test, but I still had to study. And what happens is in the Caribbean, it's almost like ranking of kings. It's almost like your favorite anime series. They rank you based on your grade. So if you're like a D student, you're going in D group. If you're a C student, you're going in C group. B student, B group. A students, A groups. It's literally like a hierarchy, like a ranking. Oh my gosh. That would like a really dope anime and manga series, just ranking schools. But long story short, right? Put me in D group. I'm like, what? D group? In my mind, I'm like, hold up. You can't put me in no D group. I don't even care if that's what you think I am. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. Because one of my favorite quotes in life is from Locke and Lost. He said, "Don't tell me what I can or can't do." Again, don't tell me what I can or can't do. So what did I have to do? I had to prove myself. Man, I was in D group, learning all this stuff in the Caribbean. I'm like, okay, watch me. Studying, putting in work, putting in. This is stuff I've never learned before in my life. And remember, it's cumulative. So I had to learn about 5 to 6 years worth of knowledge in like 10 months. If that, I was going hard. First, they put me in D group. I put in work. Then I'm in C group. Put in work. Then I'm in B group. I'm putting in work. And then I got A group. Man, when I got to A group, man, I put my feet up in my mind. I'm like, they can't tell me nothing because I'm not about to do that in class. It's the Caribbean. You can't do that type of foolishness. So I say all that to say this. I went from D group to A group, right? In less than a year, right? On stuff I had never learned. Why? Because I believe that I could do it. I believe that I could do it. And you know what helped me? You know what also helped me? Reading books and playing video games. So don't believe the hype when people like, I was so serious that I put down the video games and I put in the work and I hustled and I did the push-ups and I did the sit-ups and I ate the raw eggs like I'm in Rocky. Like that's nice and all, but the real truth is this, right? Nothing in overconsumption. You have to have discretion when you make decisions. So if you're choosing to play games as a way to relax, that's fine, but don't overindulge. Don't spend day and night like that guy that was like sitting down in a robe cooking eggs and playing Halo with his feet sitting in a couch and rank. Like, you don't have to do that. All right, like, gamers aren't just people that just absorb their entire life into games. It's a pastime. The same way how you wouldn't say, I was so serious. I got serious. I stopped watching football and I stopped watching. Well, you could do that. I stopped watching TV, or stopped playing basketball, or I stopped playing tennis, or I stopped hanging out. Like, these things are good, but in context, all right? Because you don't want to get to the point where someone's opinion of you becomes your reality, all right? For some people, they can't handle video games. So it's an overindulgence for them. So for them, reducing that is fine. And for a season, I had to also stop playing video games, because when I was working on Bold Saga, when I didn't hit my deadlines, I'd have to punish myself by not doing something I loved. So there'd be months where I wouldn't play my favorite video games. For months, I wouldn't play, like, PlayStation 2, Jack and Daxter, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Killzone, all this stuff that I enjoyed. I was like, no, time out. It's time for punishment. Like, you didn't get the job done, focus and drill down. So I say all that to go back to the Caribbean, that even my teacher, was Mrs. George back then, was basically saying, how did you want to come and bang off all you? Like, you've been here for the last 5-6 years and you should know this stuff. There's a kid from New York who's really born here, but come back from New York, who's literally caught up to you. How you let him do that? Well, I had the belief that I could do it. I had the mentality. Because remember, you have to believe it in your mind before it actually happens. I saw myself as a student. I didn't need someone to try and limit me and try and tell me I'm a D student. I saw myself as an A student and I put in the work. No cheating, no trying to rob people, just straight work. All right. Hard work is part of the process. Smart work is also part of the process too. So you need both. And this ties back into the whole building wealth because a lot of people have this strange mentality where a job alone will save you. Like the people worship mammon, they worship job, they worship job security and financial security. There's no security because at the end of the day, if a job don't like you, they can fire you. We saw what happened in the pandemic. So you need to find ways to remove yourself out of a system that can literally switch up on you in any moment and find a system that works for you, for your family. And literally, this is what we talk about in this book specifically. One gem that I remember reading in it was this, and it was talking about business. And it was talking about the fact that if you truly want to get your dreams done, if you truly want to achieve your dreams, it's like this. You can't just be talking about it. You can't just be wasting time. You've actually got to be the person who actually gets the job done because it's like this. A fool is like literally known by a multitude of words, but a dream comes to a multitude of business. So if you truly want to get your dreams done, if you truly want to turn your dreams into reality, you're going to need a business. You're going to need something that can help you. All right. Really and truly and honestly help you. So this is why business is important. This is why you got to get into getting the job done. Because if you just talk about it, many people talk about their dreams. You know how many people said that they wanted to make their book, but this happened and that happened and this occurred and that occurred. No, I'm not going to invalidate someone and say that they're not facing a challenge, they're not facing a circumstance. But at some point, when do you stop talking about the problem and start talking about how you're going to actually achieve the solution? Because it's one thing to have a goal, it's another thing to have a dream, but it's another thing to actually have a plan of action. Like, what is your plan to actually achieve the thing that you want to get done? What is the plan that you're using? So, this is the whole reason why we've created a book that sums up a plan. Simple 7 steps. Wouldn't it be great if you had a book that could show you, if it's just 7 steps to getting my dream done, that's not hard. It's only 7 steps. It's only 7 steps that you need to go from where you are to where you need to be. To go from just an idea in your head to an actual physical book. And why I made this book this way is I don't want to be like people at Shonen Jump or anyone else that creates books that shows you how to make manga where we're just talking about you just gotta learn how to draw better. You just gotta learn how to, copy and paste what other people have done. Forgetting that there's something called copyright infringement, which is you robbing people of their intellectual property. You can get sued and cease and desist or damages $750,000 to $150,000. Like that doesn't exist. None of that. None of that. I'd rather show you what the truth is. The truth is that you need a system. You need a system that's going to help you go from where you are to where you need to be. And that's what we're doing with this. Again, just 7 steps. And it's the system that we use to make Bold Saga. If you don't know, if you're first new to this channel, Bold Saga is our Afrofuturism manga series where we've created it. And as you see, like I'm literally pulling out book after book after book. It's not someone that's just talking about creating books. It's about someone who's actually done it. You've done 14 books, 10 books last year. In fact, in addition to all that, we literally also created an audiobook as well. So when we're talking about getting things done, this is from someone who's actually done it, who's actually gone and been where you've been. Because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have a dream. I know what it's like to have a goal. I know what it's like when difficult situations and circumstances hit you. But I know the truth. The truth is that if there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And if you truly believe that you can get it done, oh, you'll find a way. Because if you're serious, you'll find a way. And if you're curious, you'll find an excuse. Now, watch this. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by the multitude of words. This is King James Version of Ecclesiastes 5, verse 3. Again, for a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by the multitude of words. King James Version of Ecclesiastes 5, verse 3. What does that tell you? That tells you the simple truth that even the Bible times, they knew this. If you truly want to make your dream come through and become a part of your reality and live it in your life and touch millions and reach millions of people as well as gain millions in wealth in your life, it's got to come through a multitude of business. I find it so fascinating. There's so many 6, 5, 4-figure jobs, but you never really hear about that from like 7, 8, 9, 10 figures. No, a job's not going to help you reach that. No. Like the highest levels of wealth are going to be through business. Business has no limits, but jobs do. Jobs have ceilings. Business has no limits. All right. Because I literally have a hat that tells you I got no limits. I'm telling you this because I want you to have that same mentality as well, kings and queens. Like when you believe literally that you can do it, all things are possible to him that believes. That's a fact. It's such a fact that we literally have this jacket that says it right there. Watch, right there. See that? It says believe. You need to believe. You need to believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, I believe in you for you. It's almost like in that anime, Gurren Lagann, when Kamiyama was talking to Shimon. He's like, believe in me that believes in you that believes in me, or believe in you that believes in me that believes in you. So what does that basically break down to? If you don't have enough courage to believe in yourself, I believe in you. And I believe that you can get it done. Because if you're watching this, I know something about you. You have a dream, you have a goal, you have something that you want to get done. And for some of you, that goal, that dream, that purpose, that definitive purpose, that burning desire is to get your first book done because you've read manga. You've read anime or watched anime. You've seen that how to do representation, how to have fairy tale and have an entire series where they talk about Ankh Salam, talking about magic and all that. And don't even have like Ankh Salam in the story because Ankh is Egypt and they don't even show any of like the characters that are like that. And if they are in the story, they're just basically like darker shaded Japanese people with Japanese features or Eurocentric features. Like there's no authentic representation. Like they don't do that. Or how you have Full Metal Alchemist and alchemy comes from alchem. Oh my gosh. Like when you really study these things, you really find out where the roots are. And the chems from Egypt. So again, all that stuff ties back to Egypt. So in that regard, in those two shows. So I find it so fascinating that they don't really even have Egyptian characters in it or even showcase it. Even when you look at Yu-Gi-Oh! So you can go down the list, and it's not just Yu-Gi-Oh! It's many animes. It's one of the reasons why Gear 5. Anyway, I'm not gonna share all my opinions right now. You'd have to just check out the podcast and find out the full thing. But again, going back to what we're talking about, you truly want to build wealth, you want to make your anime, right? A couple things you're gonna need. You're gonna need the mindset because the mind is the thing that's gonna help you win. I found something very fascinating. A couple of, if not last year, the year before. Strength is not in your muscles. Strength is not in your bones. Strength is not even in your voice. Strength comes from your mind. I was like, interesting. Because look at this. If you've ever done push-ups, you know this. Your body will physically tell you, I can't do anymore. But your mind will be like, one more push-up. What is that? You're overriding. It's the second wind, that power to keep going. Even in the midst of adversity, the Holy Ghost giving you the power to keep going. That's in the mind. It's all in the mind. And once you realize it's not about how hard you work, but just how effectively you use your mind. Oh my gosh. Because watch this, money is an idea. And money is attracted to ideas. This is why it's so hard to just grind, hard, work, and get paid. It's all about how you effectively use your ideas because ideas are where the wealth is. All right. People like to tell you ideas are worth this because they know the idea when they use it will be worth millions and billions. All right. And if there's one group of people I know that have a whole ton of ideas that have helped the planet, is Black people. Like when we create things, we just share, we just be helping people. Like I listened to Isaac Hayes III when he was talking about it. I don't remember the names of the businesses, but he was basically saying that we created an entire industry when we created hip hop 50 plus years later. Basically 50, it's like we created hip hop out of nothing, right? Created the not just only hip hop, but then created like the turntables and all that, the technology. But we didn't find a way that copyright and make the IPs, structure. And then here's the craziest thing: years later, the people that are on top of the turntables, on top of all the technology that runs it, right? It's not Black people, it's other people. So what I've noticed is that we'll create the idea, we'll have this amazing invention, we'll just share it with the world, but then we don't take time to protect it. We don't take time. We don't take time to protect it. We need to do more in terms of protecting our intellectual property because when they say one man's trash is another man's treasure, that treasure could be billions and trillions of dollars, all right? All right? Like when you look at it from a mineral resource respect, like the nations that are in Africa are the richest in the world. A lot of people like to say third world and all this other stuff. That's a game. The reality is when you talk about minerals and the actual resources, the iridium, the gold, the diamonds, all these things is fueling the planet. And it's all in the nations in Africa. Like I even got a post earlier today, someone was mentioning, and it's like, pray for Congo because they're going through a lot. So I pray that God gives them peace. I pray that the genocide there stops because like there's chaos everywhere, all right? And I don't need to remind you if you're watching this how bad the world is. We know this. Any type of news show will show you that, but instead of just only focusing on that, pray for them. I pray that God intervenes. We got to focus on the solutions. What solutions can we provide? If you truly want to help people, like Vusi Tembekweo said, occupy until you come, you have to do that through business. All right. It's not going to be like just prayers alone, right? You also have to have the wealth with it as well. You know, like even when Jesus said the parable, when they're like everyone's got to pay the taxes. Jesus went into fish and just paid. Render unto Caesar which is Caesar's. Render unto God that which is God. Like you're still gonna have to pay, but it's like it's better when you have wealth and when you have access to wealth. In fact, I'm not. I was just about to share it, but you have to check out the podcast. You have to check out the podcast because that's a gem right there. A lot of times we're just focused on the hustle and the bustle, but it's beyond that. We need to get to the systems. Systems are self caring. I want to share with you systems that I have encountered from being in rooms where the wealthy, in the rooms where the big dogs are. When you hear about how they talk about how they do business, it's like this is very interesting. This is stuff that we don't learn in school. Why aren't we taught this stuff? Because if you knew the stuff that I've seen, and if you saw the stuff that I've seen, I'm like, wow. This is incredible, man. This is truly incredible. Because when you're in the room and in the midst of greatness, that's the type of place you want to be in. You don't want to be the smartest person in the circle, all right? Because then that's a cage. You want to be in the rooms where it's like you're like what you know is here, and everyone in the room is like this, like they know that much about so many different things, and you're like, wow, so many different systems. I want to use this system. I want to model, don't steal this system or that system because that's how you gain wealth. Wealth is going to be generated when you start to apply the things that you learn because knowledge is not just power, applied knowledge is power. It's not just enough to read 52 books. What have you applied from them? Because I had 52 books and it was great. It's what helped me get 7 steps off the floor. But one thing I've learned is that 52 books on alone are going to help you. What are the 52 rules you're going to apply? What are the 52 steps you're going to apply? What is one thing that you can apply? And if you want to know more about this, just check out the book One Thing by Gary Keller. Do yourself a favor. It is not overly expensive. Check out One Thing by Gary Keller. The book is a blessing. Because it's like this, what is the one thing that can change my life? What is the one step I can take today to actually go from where I am to where I need to be? What is the one thing I need to do to actually start my merch line? Because what you see right here, except for the God is Dope shirt, not that. But the merch right here, we make this merch. These books, we make it. What is the one step that I can take to actually get my dream done? What is the one step that I can do? What is the one step? When you find out what the one step is, apply it. Go after it. Do it because it's like this. You got to do it now. You have to do it now. Why? Because if you wait for the perfect moment, then you'll be waiting days. You'll be waiting weeks. You'll be waiting months. You could be waiting years. And you know what's going to happen in between that they don't tell you about? When they're like, oh, yeah, you got to make sure everything is done before you get started. The reality is this. You could be missing out on opportunities that are worth hundreds, thousands, millions, yes, millions, and even billions of dollars. Why? Because you weren't in position. See, when opportunity and destiny meet, when opportunity and preparation meet, that's what destiny is. And when you tap into destiny moments, everything changes. When you tap into destiny moments, everything changes. So when you have your opportunity and your preparation, I'm telling you, you have to get into position. And this is why you have to start now. When I made Bold Saga Chapter 1, I wasn't ready. I went to Black Science 90 Day Book Challenge. I failed it. I had my deadlines. I failed those. The pandemic happened. Everything got thrown off. Literally, my grandfather passed away. It was close to, and that really hurt. And I had to work on his funeral arrangements. And I had to go back to Antigua while working on that. So it's like every single inconceivable L that could have happened. Even making chapter 1, the physical book, I failed 28 times just trying to get it self-published. So what does that tell you? It's not over until I win. Les Brown said it best. It's not over until I win. You're looking at someone who's overcome all these adversities, overcome all these challenges to let you know if I can do it, you can do it. Because there are times in life you have gone through something where you don't know how you made it. It's God to help you. When life seems like everything is just bearing down on you. It feels like a volcano, just like spewing hot magma. Everything is just getting crazier and crazier. The fire's turned up, all the challenges are happening, all the enemies are coming out. But here's the best part about all of this, all right? Here's the best thing I've learned. Here's the best thing I've learned. Video games have taught me this, right? When you see an enemy in your way, they're blocking your blessing. They're in the way of your blessing. Because watch this. If you truly want to save Princess Peach, you have to defeat Bowser. All right? All right? If you played Spider-Man, right, then the Marvel Spider-Man, you want to be able to actually save the heroes, save the characters that are being terrorized by demons and stuff like that. You actually have to defeat them. All right? So it's like when you come into conflict and you overcome these challenges, that's how you get your breakthroughs. That's how you get those next level blessings. Even this, you might be an enemy in your own way. You with your mindset, that stinking thinking, you with that I can't do this, or every time I turn around, like your words change your world. Again, your words change your world. So if you speak I can't or I am and it's a negative afterwards, you're infusing eternity into your negativity. Because what is I am? That's God. That's literally what God defines himself as in the Bible. I am that I am. So when you literally speak, I am the head and not the tail, that's life. I am above and not beneath. That's life. I am the lender and not the borrower. That's life. But if you speak death, I am a failure. I am so broke. I am stupid. Like you're changing your world around you and you're changing who you are inside of you. That's going to break you down. Two last things I want to let you know. One is they did a study a while ago and it was on water, right? This is so fascinating. They did it with water and they did it with rice as well. They had, it was secret messages in water. They also did with rice. 3 bottles and 3 pitchers, right? And they had water. They sealed it. The researchers spoke positive things to one water, right? Spoke negative things to the other water, and then basically ignored the last water. Now they waited after a couple of days, after a couple of weeks, after a couple of months, and then they came back and they noticed something over the time while they're doing their research. When they spoke positivity, right, to the water and to the rice, it flourished, it grew, it stayed fresh. You could see like these positive shapes within the water. Like it started to change because of the words of frequency, right? And when it went to the negative one, right? Guess what happened? Guess what happens in the water? The water looked terrible. The formations in the water, the shapes based on the frequency was negative. It was all gangly and twisty and like disgusting. The rice molded, they got rotten. And the craziest thing is when they spoke negative nothing to the last one, it was the same thing, basically, or close to the same thing as the negative. Why? Because when you speak nothing, it's the same thing as speaking negative. If you're not going to speak positive over your life, you're not changing anything. So it's like, what is it? Entropy, the second law of thermodynamics. Anything that's left to itself is gonna corrode. Like if you just leave an apple on a counter for like 30 days, it's gonna rot. All right. It's crazy, but it's true. You leave food out and it's gone for weeks, it's going to rot. If you have plants, you just let them grow wild without taking care, they're just gonna go crazy. It's entropy. Life moves towards entropy because we live in a sin world, all right? So the reality is this: chaos is natural. What's going to be unnatural is when you change the game and speak life. That's how you change. Like that's literally why I have this hat that said I got no limits. Literally, and I showed it. I was walking around this one time, and this person's like, "Really? I got no limits? Really? No limits?" Yep. I was like, "No limits," because I'm speaking that. I'm not waiting for life to catch up to me. I'm speaking it. It doesn't matter what I'm facing. It doesn't matter how life looks. It doesn't matter. MVJ.comics, thank you so much for joining, King. It doesn't matter what life is throwing at you. It matters what you throw back at life. Because literally, when I watched Rocky 6, I don't know why they waited until 6. They should have put this quote in the first Rocky. When he was like, you get hit over and over. Life knocks you down. You get knocked down to the ground. Because life gonna keep hitting you. But it's not about how many hits you can keep throwing. It's about how many hits you can take and keep rising up and keep getting up. That's how winning is done. And that's the same thing in life. Play any video game. You will learn the same thing. It's the same truth. You're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're going to lose. But what's going to happen is you're going to get stronger over time. You're going to learn, okay, I don't want to go this way. Because one thing I've learned about enemies is that enemies have a tell. Play any video game, you'll see it. They have a tell. Like if they're going to take the axe, they move back and then they attack. or they do a certain way and then they punch, or whatever type of method that they're using. The attack matrix that the game designer put, as well as the animators put into that character, these boss characters, these enemies characters, they have a methodology of how they're going to attack. It's the same thing like the enemy. It's the same thing like enemies that are people, or an enemy working through people. There's going to be tells. There's going to be signs. You have to use discernment to say, maybe I shouldn't just put my intellectual property, my OC outline online, and just tell people what the character does in a Facebook group, in an Instagram group, on a live video. Most times when you see me make moves with Bold Saga, they've already been done. So by the time we literally had the Kickstarter for Bold Saga, we already had chapter 1 done. The IP is done. The copyright is already in place. The website is done. We already have posts. So we already have the ball moving. It's weird. Here's a hack for you people that want to do Kickstarters. Don't do it for your first chapter. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Instead, get a movement going. It's very weird, but people want to see winners. They don't just want to see people that just have an idea that start, because those people seem kind of shaky. They may not finish what they set out to do, but okay, if you got the first chapter done, right? Because all it takes is one. Remember we talked about one, Gary Keller, the book, The One Thing? If you have one, chapter 2 is on the way. If you have 2, chapter 3 is on the way. If you have 3, chapter 4 is on the way. If you have 4, the next book is on the way. What is that telling you? All you need to do is get to 1. If you get to 1, everything changes. 1 book, 1 million, 1 merch sale, 1 event speaking, 1. It's not about getting 100 anime episodes. It's about 1 book, 1 manga chapter, getting 1 page done, and you just build up your ones and ones and ones until you won. WON. So it's like you have to change how you see things so you can seize the things that you want. All right. It's a lot of mind. And this is the thing most people are not going to tell you, right? Because I've read most of these. Most of these are talking about the drawing. But they're not going into this. They're not going into the mindset of a champion. They're not going into the mindset of what it takes to actually become the person that gets it done. You become the person that actually finishes the manga series. But they'll show you the skills. See, the mind is the thing that's going to help you win, because it's going to be challenging. Anything worth having is worth fighting for. Anything worth having is worth fighting for. And you know this if you've ever tried to do any type of push up, any type of exercise, if you want to go up a different weight, you're going to have to encounter resistance. But what I love about that is as you break down, you build up. And when you do it, you're going to feel weak at first. Remember, the first time I was getting into push ups, my dog understands as well. Remember, the first time I was getting into push ups, I hated it. I felt so weak. My muscles were so sore. But one thing I love is that the body's like tearing the muscles apart and then rebuilding. So you've got to tear up the things that are not working for you, Pareto principle, and focus on the things that matter. All right. Because the reality is this: 20% of your work is going to give you 80% of your results. Pareto principle. You need to get into these types of mentalities because you have to find the thing that's going to give you the most leverage. This is what the rich people know. All right. The impact effort matrix. They know this stuff. All right. What is that? Simply put, what can I do that requires the least amount of effort that provides the most amount of impact? That's how winning is done. Again, Kings and Queens, what is the thing that you can do that has the least amount of effort for you that provides the most amount of impact? Is it releasing a podcast? Is it actually, writing a book? Is it actually making stop motion animations? Is it claymation? What is the thing that comes easy to you that's hard to others? And then what is the thing that comes easy to you that's hard to others that provides the most amount of reward that's coming back from it? That's what you have to do. That's what I challenge you to do that. Once you find that one thing, everything changes. This is why the enemy will fight you so hard to get your one thing done. This is why people don't understand the aspect of why you need to have a social media presence while you're making your books. And we're going to be talking about all these things and more in the Build Your Own Table podcast. This is the panel that's happening with Elevate with the podcast. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and we're going to be talking about parts of this in the Blurred's Eye View interview tonight, because I want to see you win, Kings and Queens. I don't want to just talk about it. I don't want you to just you just draw and all this other stuff. Like, that's not enough. It's not enough to just be an artist or an implementer. You want to be on the highest level. Imagination. SpongeBob had it right. Imagination. When you have that, you change everything. You change everything. because creativity, you can't prompt it, right? Can't really, even if you try and steal it, it's always often imitated, never duplicated. Like, you're not going to be able to prompt greatness because some ideas come from God and they're revolutionary. Watch this. The person who made the periodic table, how did it come to him? He didn't write it. He didn't just draw it. It came to him in a dream. The lady that had honeypot, she said that she had a dream and she saw a grandmother and she was talking about all these different things. Oliver, shh, talking about all these different things, and then she mixed it up, and then she saw the potion. She's not the potion. She saw the actual procedure of getting it done, putting it together. She did that. Now, what did they say honeypot sold for? A couple hundred million. It's amazing what happens when you obey God, do what He says to do, right, and actually use what He said to do. Because when you do that, when you're in obedience, obedience is better than sacrifice. When you're in obedience, when you're in alignment with Him, and you actually move the way He says to move, and you actually do what He says to do, you can change the very course of your life. I even heard it said from a millionaire. One idea implemented that could have come to you on a beach or while you're relaxing, right? Could be worth more than 10 lifetimes worth of work. One idea. Just one. Just one. I find it very fascinating that the top 25 media franchises of all time, a lot of them deal with entertainment. A lot of them deal with stories. That might be a master key for you right there, Kings and Queens. It's just when you have a story, everything changes. I'm not gonna get into the deep aspects and the analytics of why story is so powerful. We do that in self-publishing Goldmine. But I will tell you this: become a better storyteller. I'm an artist, and I'll even tell you become a better storyteller. I love drawing, and I'll tell you become a better storyteller. Why? Story is the greatest catalyst for change, kings and queens. Again, story is the greatest catalyst for change. When you have a great story, all right, everything changes. The whole reason why this is worth over $20 billion is because of the story. You read One Piece, it's unassuming. And that's why I love it. It looks so simple. The art looks so cartoony, but it's probably one of the most profound manga series you'll ever see. Deeper than Attack on Titan, deeper than Full Metal Alchemist. The story is deep. The story is deep. And then when you look at My Hero Academia, this system, what they created in this is one of the most effective ways I've seen of telling a hero's journey in manga. To the point it makes me feel like I'm in Spider-Man, or Spider-Man's one of my favorite heroes. Him, Black Panther, anyway. It feels like that all over again. They captured that, not just magic, they captured that aesthetic, they've captured that vibe, they've captured that feeling, and that's what you want, kings and queens. You want to capture the essence, the spirit of greatness in your stories. And that's what I challenge you to do. And that's what we show you how to do in self-publishing Goldmine, a group coaching program, as well as this book. If you don't want to pay $5K, you can literally get this book for 47. So what we'll do right now, letting you know again, if you're interested and you want to get to that next level now, you don't want to wait your entire life to create your first book, because 97% of people who start their books, they never finish. And less than 3% of them, out of that 3%, they never even get the copyright done. They never take the manuscript and actually turn it into something. So I want to give you the advantage. I want to give you an unfair advantage so you can win on purpose. So there's a link, greatgale.com/steps. Or if you're watching this on IG, just DM the word steps and we'll send you out the information, because we want to see you win. We want to see you go from just the idea, right? Just the idea to the finished book. Those paintings behind me, they were not easy to make. But one thing I learned is once I understood the system of how to do it, everything changed. Because I was very afraid I'm completely honest. When I was young, I used to hate inking. And then I took the time to understand the system of inking and how to get it done. Oh, now I love it. Now I love it. I used to hate coloring because I'm like, oh, it's so much work to choose the colors. Then you got to do the shading. Ugh. And that's one of the reasons why I used to do terribly in college, because I do amazing art. And then when it's time to do the shading, I'll just skip that and I would fail or lose a whole bunch of points. And I got into, how can I master the system? Spent time with a master, learned the method that he showed. Once I understood the system, oh, painting is a blessing now. Once you understand how it's done, it's so much easier. So this is what I'm telling you. When you get amazing assets from masters, you're able to collapse decades into days. Because for decades I didn't understand how to paint. For decades, I didn't understand how painting works. Now I understand how painting works, and it's a dream come true. When you understand how to paint, you can make your covers. Like every cover that you see, and if I didn't explain it, I'll let you know again. You see these covers for these books, we are painting it. Because what we teach and what we showcase with Bold Saga is cover to cover. It's not just someone who's just talking, not just someone who's just creating something. We actually do cover to cover. So it's the art, the writing, the self publishing, the business, the marketing, the cover design. All these things we're covering. The character design, all these things we're covering. My wife is the editor. All these things we're covering and more because they asked a millionaire, how do you become a millionaire? He said, understand every part of the process. Understand it. Once you understand the process, everything changes. Everything changes. And another thing to let you know, it's Black History Month, but truthfully, it's Black History every day of the month, every day of the year. So we want to let you know, if you're truly looking for a story that's empowering and young kings and queens, if you're truly looking for a story that can change the game forever, you can go to that link I just showed you. That'll get you 7 steps to creating a dream manga series, plus bonuses over $1,000, right? But wait, that's not all. Like you can also get Bold Saga, chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you want to get an amazing gift for your kings and queens, a story that even Black Sands Entertainment said, an elite group of creators, that's what I'm looking for. Me personally, I thought Bold Saga was pretty damn good. This man has already made millions. He's already been on Shark Tank and got a deal. So what does that tell you? If people like him respect it, if we got multiple 5-star reviews. I remember the first review I got from Bold Saga. I was shocked. I shared it with someone that's into manga and anime. They gave me a really big hug. Oh my gosh. I don't, this is a problem we all have, even me. The mind will rush immediately to negativity. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Did I draw a character wrong? Did I mispronounce something? Was this and that done wrong? So all these things and more, I was wondering. And he's like, no, this was great. When I read Bold Saga, it's on some Shonen Jump level quality. Like, I loved it. I really loved it. Like, it was really great. I was shocked. I'm like, what? Something I wrote? And this is why I'm letting you know this, Kings and Queens, because come closer. Come closer. I was afraid of writing at first because I prefer drawing. Because I never liked, when it came to writing, how do I create stories that matter? How do I create characters that people care about? How do I actually make a storyline that's going to actually matter to someone? And guess what I did? I spent time understanding how it's done. And once I understood how it's done and how to actually write a story, oh my. Not only do I understand how to write the story, I've done it 4 times and then I've done 10 times after that. 14 books. So it's like, I even helped the client when they were working on their project. It's like, we need to get this book done in like less than 14 days. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Did it in 11 days. Literally, an entire book done in less than 14 days. It took 11 days because of the systems that we talk about in 7 steps to creating a dream manga series. And I guarantee you, no one else is going to be showing you the stuff that I'm showing you because we're showing you how to actually do it in your life. Not outsourcing it to Canva or AI or some garbage where you're not going to own it or you're liable for copyright infringement in the future. All right, because I can't even share all the stuff I want to share with you. You got to tap into the podcast. You got to tap into the interviews because we are showing you the game, kings and queens. The game. Understand the rules of the game. Everything changes. Everything changes in your life. When you understand how to make your first book, oh my God. Especially for Black History Month. Like, it's not about just you getting stuff and you supporting me, but it's more about me serving you and helping you win. Me serving you and helping you create your dreams, create your goals, actually get the job done. Because when you make something phenomenal, it changes the game. Like I should have done this a while ago, watching the Shaka Zulu series. Oh my gosh. And if you don't know what Bold Saga is about, Bold Saga follows Masego's journey to be the next Anansi, like his role model Shaka Zulu. But first, he's got to overcome tests and trials and a rite of passage that leads to a supernatural encounter where he finds out what it truly means to be bold or brave onwards, limit destroyer. So this is a story about empowering kings and queens to seize greatness, honestly celebrating Black excellence instead of highlighting Black pain, because we get that all the time. We get the killer bees. We get the hypersexualization of Yoruichi and Bleach. We get the mockery and minstrelsy of Usopp. We see it all over the place. Like, it's whack excellence. We're tired of it. We're tired of it. And we're not just going to sit down and say, oh, please, manga and anime creators, can you honestly represent us properly? We want more representation. I don't care about that anymore. You know what I really care about? How can we represent for ourselves? How can we do for self? Because here's the thing. I love what Isaac Hayes III said. All right, summing it up. We're dope. We've always been dope, and we're going to continuously be dope. So why don't we just make our own? This is what we're going to be talking about, build your own table the panel, because we want to show you how to do it yourself. Don't just, I don't even want to give it all away. You got to tap in, all right? That podcast is going to be, the panel is going to be coming very soon. This is the one, truly, this may be one of the most important podcasts you may watch this year when it comes to self-publishing, when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to your goals of making your book, all right? All right? Because when you create a book, KPI, key person of influence. Daniel Priestley talked about it. One of the most important things you can do is become an author in your lifetime. If you truly want to become successful, become an author. Become an author. I can't stress it enough. People look at you differently because you're a subject matter expert, because you know what you're talking about, and you got the statistics and information to prove it. I've had people read 7 Steps to Creating a Dream Manga series and be like, wow, this exceeded every expectation I had in my mind. But other people read it like, this is a book every entrepreneur should have. Why? Because it's giving me ideas. It's encouraging. This is part business, part manga, part inspiration. Oh my gosh. African proverbs throughout the entire thing. So if you truly want to empower your kings and queens and truly want to showcase even the principles of Kwanzaa and so much more, like this is the book for you. Even look at the back. Look at the back. Where will your dreams take you next? And that's what I want to end this with, kings and queens, because I want to ask you, where will your dreams take you next? Will you execute on them, or you just find excuses to push them to the side? How many more years will your dreams have to wait on you before you release them? Because I remember what Denzel Washington said, and that haunted me to the point I'm never going to forget it. He was like, oh, what a tragedy it is to come to the end of your life. You are on your deathbed, and standing around you is every dream that God gave you, right? Every dream standing around your deathbed, hating you, shouting at you, crying and being mad at you. Why? Because they come to this realization, oh, the hardest part, the saddest part, the cruelty, you're going to your deathbed. And all of us dreams that God gave you to create are going to the grave with you. Just let that sink in for a second, kings and queens. Let that sink in. The richest place in the world is not Fort Knox. Truly, like the wealthiest place is not just the nations of Africa. You want to know where the wealthiest place is on the planet? You may have already guessed it. See, the wealthiest place on the planet is the grave. The graveyard is the wealthiest place on the planet. Because too many times people wait for the right moment. Too many times we wait and we hold off. We're like, I'll do it tomorrow. And I procrastinate. And I'll just, I'll wait until the perfect moment because this happened and that happened. We keep letting life happen to us. When are we going to happen to life? When are we going to just override these things? Because every time that we let life happen to us, another dream, another moment, another million, another billion is lost forever. Not like lost income, that forever. Like, how much wealth are we losing in our lifetime and for generations that come after us every time we don't act? Literally, by creating 7 Steps, creating Bold Saga, creating these books, I've had people say that you inspired me to make my own story. You inspired me to celebrate my own culture. You inspired me to actually make my own books because I saw you do it. So, because I saw you do it, I know that I can do it. I know that I can do it. So that's it. It's just like Roger Bannister with the 4-minute mile. Because he broke the 4-minute mile, other people believed, and then they were able to achieve. Remember, what the mind believes and perceives, it can achieve. Again, what the mind believes and perceives, it can achieve. So that's the best part. And the reticular activating system transforms in your mind. So once you have a definitive goal, have a burning purpose, have a desire that you want, your mind is just going to start connecting the dots and just looking for anything, subconsciously or consciously, that can connect you to where you want to be. This is the stuff you're not going to learn from reading Shonen Jump. This is the stuff you're not going to learn from just learning from people that talk about how to draw manga and just, maybe a business book here and there. But this is the stuff that happens when you spend time with an expert that's actually gone down the path that you want to do. All right? Because if you want to collapse decades into days and don't want to let your dreams go into the graveyard, spend time with experts. Spend time with people who are where you want to be and learn from them. Learn from them and apply. Because again, those who are serious make adjustments. Those who are serious find a way. Those who are curious find an excuse. Which one? Which one are you? Will you find a way, or will you find an excuse? If you're serious, again, if you're serious, you'll find a way. If you're curious, you'll find an excuse. Which are you? The pills are in front of you, like literally, like the Matrix. Like, are you gonna find a way, or are you gonna find an excuse? Like, what are you going to do with the time God's given you? Are you going to actually achieve those dreams set out and work towards those dreams, or are you just gonna let them go to the grave with you? Because life is not forever. Death is one of the things that, unfortunately, it's the reality that we can all potentially face, unless the rapture happens before that happens. But generally speaking, human nature, death is inevitable. So, what can you do while you're alive? What can you do while you're alive to leave your mark? What can you do while you're alive to change someone's life? What can you do while you're alive to be a cycle breaker? Not just letting generational debt and lack and misfortune, all these other familiar spirits come down the line, but what can you do to shift the narrative the way how Joseph was able to do in the Bible? The type of wealth that he was able to gain for his people. So while it was dark in Egypt, there was light in Goshen. So what can you do in your lifetime to change the narrative and gain wealth, build wealth, so that you could actually fund your anime? You know, what can you do? I encourage you to choose wisely, right? I encourage you to create your own book. That's one of the best ways. And I'm not going to break it down right now because there's so many benefits. But again, I challenge you to create your own book. And if you said you're going to create your own book, then I'm here to challenge you again to say, finish what you said. Keep your commitments to your commitments. Don't just talk about it, be about it. All right. So thanks again, kings and queens, wherever you're watching this from. You can leave it in the comments where you're watching it from, how this video helped you. And if it truly did, share it. And again, like, comment, subscribe. Again, if you want to find more amazing, epic content like this that's going to help you transform your life and live your dreams, follow us at Great Gale Co, at GreatGaleco, as well as my personal account that's Uwarni at EUWARNII. So again, we are here to help you win, kings and queens. We are here to help you win. Because it's too many times people like to talk, but people don't like to do. Too many times people like to talk, but too many times they don't like to do. So if you want to find more amazing content like this, at Great Gale Co, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse, and Fanbase. Or if you want to follow me personally on Instagram, there's at Uwarni. Can be putting up more content there as well. Because we want to see you win. It's not just about talking, it's about doing. And this is the year, kings and queens. 2024 is the year of more. It's the year of doing. So again, thank you so much for watching this. Again, if you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, share it out. Let more kings and queens know, because this is a time. It's a time to build wealth. Until next time, keep winning, kings and queens.